You remember he was the 3-year-old little boy who was gunned down last year. The mayor also there. An update now on that case.
Baker, your prosecutor. With me is a team of great folks that helped us get here today. But let me just start off and tell you why we're all here. I'm going to take us back to the morning of May the 31st of 2015. That's a date that 3 children slept in their beds in their family home, like many of us experience in our own households. This one was not different. The first child you already know about. You've heard about him. It was 3-year-old Amorian Hale. His family knows him as Maury. And that night, like so many others, Maury went to sleep with his superhero pillow at his side. And while I've been told by his family over time how much Maury really loves superheroes, I know that superhero pillow he had was not the most important thing in the room with him, not the second most important thing in the room with him, but that was his 2 baby twin brothers who slept in a crib next to his bed. They all shared a room together. Now, what these 3 precious little children did not know is that one of them would be payback for a murder. One of them would be payback for a man they did not know, they did not associate with, and they did not have a conflict with. These children, along with multiple adults in the house that day at 6701 Waldron, found themselves in a hail of gunfire. Now, as you already know how the story ends, Amorian Hale was struck by a single high-powered bullet while he slept. It killed him instantly. Salif Wilkins is charged today with Amorian's murder. That morning at the Hale home, Salif was visiting Amorian's father, Chris Hale, among others. The evidence will show that Salif Wilkins had recently learned that individuals associated with that house at 6701 Waldron may have been associated with a previous homicide. And that would be the murder of Dominic Marchbanks, also known as Lumpy. Now, Salif's behavior on that morning at the Hale home, was described as odd. But he was doing some planning. He was communicating by phone with Sir Terry Stevenson. You will remember Sir Terry Stevenson. He has already been charged with murder in the first degree in this case. Now, phone records will show Salif is on the phone the night before the murder with Sir Terry. He was again on the phone that morning with Sir Terry, and he was even on the phone during the homicide. Witnesses describe Salif's behavior continuing to be odd, that at points in that morning he wanted to go to the basement of that house on Waldron, and that during a phone conversation he was heard talking about a gold car, and that was just immediately before the shooting. And then he left that house just moments before gunfire began. Now, Stevenson was driving a gold 1998 Buick LeSabre, and he was driving down Waldron Avenue while speaking on the phone to Salif Wilkins. Dominic Marchbanks, we have learned, is a passenger in that gold Buick. Dominic Marchbanks, also charged today, is the individual that leaned out of that vehicle and he fired a weapon into the house located at 6701 Waldron. When Marchbanks was done firing, as is so common the practice, they fled the scene, with Sir Terry driving the car. Now, in a statement to detectives, Marchbanks denied any involvement in this homicide, But he did state that when Lumpy, his friend Lumpy, was killed, someone else dying was just a result of karma. He went on to say, I'll add, just in case my mom might be watching, and your moms might be watching, I'm going to eliminate some of the profanity here, but that he did not give a bleep that a child or a 3-year-old is dead. Now, after the shooting had stopped, the adults in the household at 6701 Waldron, they rushed toward that child's room. They could hear the twins crying, but Maury was making no sound. And when they entered the children's room, they saw that Maury had not moved. And as they got closer, they could see that Maury, in fact, had been shot. The weapon used was an assault-style weapon, an SKS semi-automatic assault rifle, firing a high-powered round. The bullet meant for someone in the Hale home. But the bullets, as we know, were fired indiscriminately into that home. Many rounds went through that home even, and went into a neighbor's home. And one high-powered bullet pierced the top of Maury's skull and exited out his back of his head. And the only solace that I can offer to a grieving mother is that it would appear he died instantly, and it would appear that he did not suffer.